This is a video on how to play the Black Orpheus Etude that's being put out by Durham Public Schools for their high school jazz regional guitar players. I'm going to explain, I'm playing this on a steel string guitar because I've got dots, and you can see my other guitars don't have dots on them, so it's a little hard to follow what I'm doing. The dots should help you. Not that I would play Black Orpheus on a steel string. Okay, so what happens in this Black Orpheus Etude, I'm gonna play the chord shapes with the roots so you can see what chord shapes I'm doing, but the roots are never there. They don't put roots into any of these chords. And sometimes the chords are misnamed. Oftentimes they are in kind of a jazz fashion. Oh, we'll call it an E7 chord, but really it's an E7 sharp 9 versus E7, or here's a B minor 7 flat 5, which should sound like this, but really they don't have the flat 5 in there, they have the 11, so it'd be like a B minor 11 chord. So I'm gonna try to explain that as we go along. All right, so the opening chord is an A minor 13 or an A minor 7, 6, 9. And the way your root would be here on A at your 6th string, and we're gonna play these 4 chords, and it just opens, those 4 strings. So it just opens 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one is a B minor 7 flat 5. Here's your root. We're not going to play it. We're going to go 1, 2, and then they claim they're going to an E7 flat 9. They are not. They're going to an E7 sharp 9 on the and of 2, and 3, 4. On the 3rd measure, there's a quarter note rest, and then they say A minor. It is an A minor with an added 6, so we call that an A minor 6. So here's your A, here's the F sharp, C, E, so we go rest, 2, 3, 4. All right, the next measure, it is not a B minor 7 flat 5, it is a B minor 11, and we're gonna go 1 up, and then on the and of 2, we're gonna go to an E7 chord. So, but no root. Here's your root, here's E, but they don't have the root. They've got the 3rd in the bass. And 3, 4. All right, now we're at measure 5. We have a beat and a half of rests, and then you get this A minor 13 chord. They say A minor, it's an A minor 13 on the and of 2, 1, 2, and then there's a quarter note, an 8th note rest on the and of 3, you get an A minor 7, and then there's this chord they're calling D minor 7, and it is, but it could have just as easily been called an F major 7, and that's on the end of 4, or you have your F, C, and E. It's a D minor 7 without a root. So you go and a 1, 2, and on the and of 2, we don't go to G7. It's a G dominant 7 with a 6, so we're going to call that G13, and 3, 4. The next measure says C major 7. There is no major 7 in this. It is a C6-9. You can substitute a 6-9 for a major 7. But it's a C6-9, and this is the chord they have written. So they're going to go 1, 2, rest, and then on the up of or and of 4, you are going to play what they call C sharp fully diminished 7. They are not wrong in that C sharp is part of this fully diminished 7. You can name a fully diminished 7 off of any one of the notes that are in the chord. However, it's not helpful to call it C sharp fully diminished 7. The way they have it voiced, E is the lowest note, so I would call it E fully diminished 7. So what we have here is and 1, 2. On the and of 2, you just move this shape up to where G is the lowest note. It's the same chord. By moving it up the guitar every 3 frets, you get the same notes just in different positions. So I wouldn't call it E fully diminished 7 anymore. I'd call it G fully diminished 7. And 3, and then on the and of 3, it goes up another 3 frets to A sharp. And 4. So if we do that again, we start on the pick up to that measure, we go and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. At this point, we go to measure 9, which on the Etude says D minor 7. It is a D minor 7, but it's also got a high E note in it, so it's a D minor 9. 1, 2, and then on the up of 3, or the and of 3, you pick up your pinky and it just becomes, you get rid of the 9 and it just goes to D minor 7. And then on the and of 4, it says G7. That's kind of accurate, but they have a 9 in there. They've got this A note, so it's really a G9, but once again, we're not using the root. I'm just showing you this is how I would play a G9 chord, but this are the notes without the root. So we're gonna go and 3, 4, or and 1, 2, rest, rest. The next measure says C6. That's kind of accurate, but that's not really what they're doing. They are putting a 6 into, here's your C, here's your 6, your A, but they're also putting in a 7 and a 3. So I would call that a C major 13. And I would go 1, 2. On the and of 3, it becomes a C major 7. And then on the and of 4, it becomes not an F major 7, but an F 6, 9 sharp 11. And 1, 2, 3, rest. Now, at measure 13, it says B minor 7 flat 5, and what do you know? It's an actual B minor 7 flat 5. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and it slides back on beat 3 for an A sharp minor 7 flat 5, and on the end of 3, it goes back to B minor 7 flat 5. Then on the end of 4, the music says E7 flat 9. It is not an E7 flat 9. They've got this G in here. It is an E7 sharp 9. And 1, 2, but on the and of 2, it does become E7 flat 9. 3, 4. Then we go to an A minor 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3.